Hello everyone and welcome to a week of Linux news for the 14th of May 2017. Apparently pigs are flying right now, although looking out the window, well, I record this at 10 o'clock in the evening and it's a little bit dark, so I can't really see. But anyway, from ZDNet, it's the year of Linux on the Windows desktop. Microsoft is making it easy to activate the Linux bash shell on Windows. More importantly, it's also bringing the Linux bash shell to Azure and Windows Server. And there's different versions as well. You can run an Ubuntu, OpenSUSE or Fedora version of the bash shell. It is kind of like a reverse wine, because you're running it not in a virtualized environment, but more of a literal Linux type environment. As Windows native libraries and programs, a Windows subsystem for Linux. And you can execute certain ELF files, ELF being executable linking format. So why are Microsoft doing this? Are they losing to Linux this much? Well, they are on the server side, but on the desktop side, no. Microsoft is definitely in the lead there. Yeah, it certainly seems to be the direction they're going, working with Linux and bringing in more compatibility and the ability to run Linux within Microsoft servers. With Bash on the Windows subsystem for Linux, you can run most types of Linux shell tools. These include apt, SSH, rsync, find, grep, awk, sed, sort, xargs, md5sum, gpg, curl, wget, tar, vim, emacs, diff, and patch. And you can also run most popular open source programming languages such as Python, Perl, Ruby, PHP, and GCC. In addition, the WSL and Bash support server programs such as Apache Web Server and Oracle's MySQL database. This is why they're doing it, isn't it? In short, you get a compatible Linux development environment running on Windows. Well, that will certainly expand the usefulness of the terminal environment in Windows, because while PowerShell is certainly a step up from the old traditional command prompt, there are quite a few commands that I do enjoy using within Bash that are missing. Certainly the ability to get hashes of files and wget. Very important in my line of work, and those equivalents do not exist in Windows. From Softpedia, Gnome 3.24.2 desktop environment officially released. The Gnome 3.24 desktop, which was launched in March 22nd, 2017 and has already received a first point release a month ago. Now, almost 1 month later, the second point release is here with another month's worth of improvements and bug fixes across many of the Gnome stack core components and applications. Is there anything much mentioned of what's special? No, I think it's probably just bug fixes, isn't it? I could be really cruel and say what features have we lost, but that would be below the belt, wouldn't it? A blog post which I saw on the KDE Planet, Google Drive integration in Plasma. It took longer than expected, many pieces to fit together, but now it's ready. KDE Plasma is going to get a Google Drive integration. Just add your Google account once in the System Settings Online Accounts module, and you will be able to browse your Google Drive files from Dolphin or Plasma folder view applets. So after the new account has been added, a notification pops up with the shortcut button that will open Dolphin at gdrive:// URL of your account. At any time you can choose to disable the Google Drive integration, just untick the Drive checkbox in System Settings. So this integration requires K Accounts Provider 17.04 and KO G-Drive 1.2 beta released today. I imagine I will see this in KDE Neon fairly soon, and I suppose any other rolling release KDE distros will see the improvement very soon. For example, Arch, or what do we have, Shakara? I'm probably pronouncing that completely wrong, but for Kubuntu that's probably going to be 6 months minimum before you see that feature. Another article from Softpedia that Kubuntu will be seeing upgrades in the backports repository, so you'll be getting KDE Plasma 5.9.5 to Kubuntu 17.04 and the Plasma 5.8 long-term support release desktop to the older 16.04 distro. So what versions of the applications are they going to improve? It doesn't look like it. They certainly won't advance on as far as 17.04 applications. So still a little bit behind KDE Neon. But it will be an advancement for Kubuntu. I don't think that's going to be any major changes really. We won't see anything more until the Plasma 5.10 desktop. There was a KDE Project Security Advisory, a local privilege escalation with KAuth. Published on the 10th of May, and this is a high risk rating. There's no real classification there on numbers. I know it says high, but is that what is it out of 10? I mean, a 10 out of 10 vulnerability would be remote execution over the internet, and this says a local privilege escalation. Anyway, that's just kind of my confusion here on what they're sort of stating, but I imagine we'll receive updates for that for any distributions which are currently supported. Now we're going to move a bit towards Windows here, but this is more of a security news really. 74 countries hit by NSA-powered WannaCry ransomware backdoor. Emergency fixes emitted by Microsoft WinXP+. The WannaCry ransomware worm was exploited across 74 countries, including hospitals, businesses, including FedEx, rail stations, universities, and at least one national telecoms company, and more organisations. In response, Microsoft has released emergency security patches to defend against the malware for unsupported versions of Windows such as XP and Server 2003. How surprising. So this was a vulnerability that the NSA exploited within the Microsoft SMB. This is the file sharing system. So did it affect Samba as well? No mention. I would have to do more research to find that out. So a hacker managed to exploit these tools written by the NSA, and I think this was released by WikiLeaks. So it's used to send ransomware onto various users, and it charges between $300 to $600 in Bitcoin to restore documents. So it also installs Double Pulsar, a backdoor that allows the machine to be remotely controlled. That's another stolen NSA tool leaked alongside Eternal Blue, which Eternal Blue was the tool that exploited SMB. Fortunately, a kill switch was included in the code when it detects that a particular web domain exists. It stops further infections. That domain was created earlier today, which was on the 13th of May, by a UK InfoSec bot who spotted the .com in the reverse engineered binary. That registration was detected by the ransomware, which immediately halted its worldwide spread. Connections to the magic domain, and feel free to try and pronounce that word. I have no idea, that is very random. So that domain is syncholed to a server in California, and the admins of infected systems reaching out to the .com will be notified, we're told. IP addresses from our sinkhole have been sent to the FBI, and Shadow Server, so affected organisations will get a notification soon, said the researcher. The InfoSec bot admitted they registered the domain first and then realised it was a kill switch. Still, job done. Well, that's good. But it actually affected quite a major part of the UK. The National Health Service hospitals within England and Scotland. So I believe it spread between 17 different hospital trusts. Now these are defined as sort of multiple hospitals and doctors' surgeries within a particular area of the country. So it is not the entire country, which has been, well, brought to a halt, maybe you could say. So some people have been criticising the fact that there is a widespread Windows XP usage across the NHS. Yes, that could be part of it, but this screenshot shown here is quite clearly Windows 7. No, I suppose it could be Windows Vista as well, but I don't think they used particularly much Vista. That looks like an error effect application title bar, so my guess is that's Windows 7. This became quite a major thing really, because hospitals have had to turn away non-emergency patients, and they've had to cancel quite a lot of operations. News from Torrent Freak, millions of North American households use Kodi with pirate add-on. New data published by Canadian broadcast management company Sandvine reveals that close to 9% of all North American households have at least one Kodi device. Roughly 2/3 of these actively use pirate add-ons, which is good for millions of families in total. Well, on the plus side, that is quite positive penetration for an open source application. Of course, on the downside, that is quite a lot of people using these pirate add-ons. And, this is something I've never really used. I use Kodi in the old traditional way as being a media player. Plays files off my NAS. So, of course, this is copyright abuse and something that the Kodi developers do try and distance themselves from, but I mean, what is 9% of households? Oh, gee, I suppose I know the population of America. Let me just have a look. So, taking a quick look on Wikipedia, so number of households, 133 million. So, Oh, what's 9% of that? 10 million something, so 10 million Kodi devices in existence within America. Of course, we have to include Canada on that list as well, so 12 million, and that's going to be another 1.2 million. So yeah, quite a lot of Kodi boxes around. More news from Torrent Freak. No, Kodi users are not risking 10 years in prison, despite what the UK tabloids have said. Wow, newspapers broadcasting fake news? Never heard of that before. So some examples of fake news from the Daily Express. Kodi box shock warning, Kodi users face 10 years in jail under strict new law. Oh yeah. The Daily Mirror, same again. From the Sunday Express, Pirate Bay Proxy and Torrent Freak users could get 10 years in jail. What? I could get 10 years in jail for reading a news site? Or is it because they don't want us to go here and find out that newspapers are printing fake news? I wonder. So you could think I'm talking about this week's stupid news, but no, I've actually got one article to top this fake news epidemic. So actually, no, it's not. So the real reason here is that there are some streaming sites that could get users into trouble. I don't think they're going to be able to get 10 years in prison. I think it's just going to be blocking of the IPs and websites. This week's stupid news. Doctors call for warning labels on avocados amid spate of injuries. This article is from the New York Post, but the original article came from the Times. So avocados are so dangerous that they may soon carry a warning label in the UK. Amateur cooks just can't seem to slice up the fruit without chopping into their hands. British surgeons have seen a spike in the number of people who seriously injure themselves while trying to penetrate avocado's rubbery skin and remove its finicky pit, that they've dubbed the condition avocado hand. And feel free to do a Google image search of avocado hand. I'm going to spare you those results in the video because some have been quite horrific. I could describe one as being a knife straight through the hand while still holding the avocado. I have to say that one did look quite impressive, although I'm starting to think now it may have been modified. Gimped, could we say? No, gimped is never going to be a term that catches on. Photoshopped, yes. So apparently quite a few people a week manage to do this, but they don't want to put people off the fruit. But I think warning labels are effective. Oh, really? How many people actually pay attention to warning labels? I don't. So that was a week of Linux news. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all later.